Again, it's time for Natchez Renewal Radio right here. See, you raised your thumb and I totally forgot what I was going to say, Mayor.
Well, hello, Mr. Leon.
Natchez Renewal Radio right here, 97.7 The Beat. We have with us, we have special guests in the house today, so I have to be nice. But with the Mayor, how we doing, Mayor?
Oh, I'm doing well. Leon, I'm doing really well. I'm glad to be inside. It's been chilly out there.
Yes, it has.
But yes, we have special guests in the house. Mr. Leon, I actually have someone with me who needs no introduction to
Absolutely.
many of your listeners, Ms. Bettye Bell. And Ms. Bell is known here in Natchez for her community volunteerism. She's also known for the amazing work she does. Just a beautiful talent for making a space beautiful, events, coordination of volunteers, and also, Ms. Bettye, your organization, Pretty Girls with Brains.
There you go. There you go.
Ms. Bettye Bell is here to share with us some information about opportunities for young people at a new facility that she is working very hard to create, called the Frazier Enrichment Center. And Ms. Bell, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, ma'am, for having me.
I'm going to call you Ms. Bettye.
That's okay.
And because you've become a friend, I'm so impressed with your talent and your passion for young people, well, people of all ages, but also young people who really need a hand up in having a good life and having things to do. And I know you, with many others, started working toward an idea. I think Jarita Frazier King
yes.
Was involved. And so tell us about the old school and what y'all are now doing with it.
Well, Frazier Elementary was one of the best elementary schools here in Natchez, Mississippi. And it was closed several years ago. And the community just kind of gave an outcry of saying, we really don't want to just lose that school. We want to keep that school in the community in some type of way. So Jarita and I were talking about it one day, and we said, well, let's just go and ask the school board if they will lease it to us. So we went before the board, put together a program to present to them, and asked the board if we could actually use that facility. And they said yes, and we were like, okay, so what are we going to do with it? So Jarita she's a workforce girl.
Yes.
And I'm an educator. So I said, well, we're going to blend this together. So we formed a partnership. My organization is called Pretty Girls with Brains, which is a nonprofit. And she has a nonprofit organization called Southwest Wellness Association of Mississippi.
Right.
So we was like, okay, let's partner. And when we partner, we can come up with some ideas where we can serve the whole community. So we wanted Frazier to be a community hub.
Yes.
It's a hub for all individuals, all ages. So we tried to come up with programs that would blend in to anyone. It didn't matter whether you was down the street or up in the middle of town. You still could come over to Frazier for some type of enrichment. So that was the focus. So we did primarily 3 prongs. We focus on education, we focus on cultural enrichment, and we focus on workforce development. Those were the 3 things that we picked out. And in the educational component, we try to focus on those areas where we can work with the school district in terms of academics and in terms of recreation. Those are our primary focus. So we offer tutorial programs, academic enrichment type programs, and we're offering coding, which serves as a dual purpose for our community, old folks or young people, it doesn't matter, in which it falls under education and workforce. And Jarita, she offers the culinary arts program where she's talking about cooking along with some other people who have volunteered to come in as well. We have, right now, we have up and running our arts program. Miss Deborah McNeil, she works with that program. And if you know anything about Miss McNeil, she is, in my opinion, a renowned artist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's really good.
Oh, yeah.
And she's very passionate. So We didn't meet on Thursday of last week, and the young people called me and are we meeting today? Are we meeting today? I said, no, we're not meeting today. It's Thursday and the weather's been bad, so we're gonna wait
Right.
until next week. So when you have those type of programs where kids are eager to come, you know you're on the right track. The problem is that the programs that we're offering requires financial resources that we don't have at the moment.
Right.
And if we don't have the financial resources, we can't get the returns that we need from the programs that we offer. I would just like to, if you don't mind, list a couple of programs
Sure.
in each one of the categories that we talked about. In the educational component, we're working with, as I said before, tutorial, coding, computer, and we're working with remediation, K through 5, illiteracy skills for students who are having problems with reading or anything like that. Bring them over. We have a teacher who does that. And we also have, in our cultural diversity or cultural enrichment program, we have 2 programs that are up and running right now. We have a lady who comes in and she brings the emerald greens in to practice and work with those. And then we have Miss Angela James who's working with the spiritual component of praise dance, tap, just an array of different
great.
dances. So we try to offer something for all of the kids at all of the young people at all ages, and it's phenomenal in a way that we had our open house and we had a young man who he approached. He's a junior, I think, and he said, I asked him, I said, what is it that young people need here? He said, well, at this building, we need to have an escape room, and we need to have a rec room, things like that. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, these young people know what they need. We just need to find the resources
Right.
to provide for them
Right.
and make sure it's a safe environment for them.
Yes.
That's one of the other things is that most of the time when we put programs in certain neighborhood, it's perceived as not being safe. And we're trying to make sure that it's safe. We want the cameras, up. We want the lights up, we want security, and those types of things. As I said before, it requires financial resources. And right now I am truly, Jarita and I are truly blessed. When we opened our doors to say we were going to offer these programs, we had 14 people who showed up to say, I will volunteer my time to run this
Wow.
program. So we're running off of volunteer services at this moment, okay?
Wow.
Which is, I think, God's gift to us. I mean, it's just amazing that those type of people would show up. And I'm talking about retired educators, professional people. I'm talking about a diverse group of people, not just all black people. I mean, we got all people working, and
That's great.
that's a great thing, So we just need a little support from the community. And I've said this to the mayor before, it's not all about money. If you have old basketball equipment that you're tired of, and the basketball goal and the soccer thing and this over here, bring it to us. We'll refurbish it and do the best we can with it. Computers are the same way. Miss Jennifer McDonald is our computer teacher, and she's going to teach the kids how to rebuild a computer.
Oh, wow.
That type of thing. So one man's,
that's
what is it they say?
Trash is another man's treasure.
So we treasure anything that you all will give to us, and I'm talking to the community. Anything that you see fit to give us that will help us with our program, we'll be more than glad to take
You
it.
told me y'all needed some sewing machines.
Yes, we need sewing machines. We have 2 classes.
Yes.
We have a class called Domestic Engineering,
Yes.
and we have another class, it's called Crafting,
Oh, that's
where a
great.
lady is teaching quilting and just crafting
Yes.
things. And then with the Domestic Engineering, it's a program where you come in and you learn household management, how to do a budget for the house, how to prepare meals, how to clean, how to organize,
Yes.
Those skills. We're working with another program called Mission 601, where they're dealing with people who have drug problems or some other type of addiction,
Yes.
and they have been displaced from their homes. So they run through that program in order to get into the other
see.
program so that they
Yeah.
can learn how to get back to managing their
Yeah.
lives. which I thought was really,
Oh,
really nice.
I want to just say right now, Ms. Bettye, this is so inspiring because you really are doing an amazing thing with so little, to have volunteers come in to offer these skills and to offer activities for people of all ages to give them something to do. One thing we all know is an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yes, it
That's what
is.
I always learned growing up. And also, I do think that we've got to look at our society around us. People have gone more into themselves with their cell phones, video games, with even their music, and just having their earbuds in and blocking themselves off from the community. And there are a few things that are happening. One is people are becoming more and more to themselves and isolated. That brings on mental issues. It also deprives them of opportunities to develop skills and to also develop interpersonal skills and to get out of their comfort zone, so to speak, to really become a part of productive society.
That's true.
And I think the Frazier Enrichment Center offers opportunity for
We do have
people to get out of all that.
We do. We have a program called Mind and Wellness, where the young lady works with depression, anxiety, and coping skills.
Oh, that's good.
Come in and talk to her about those type things. And in that particular program, we want to eventually get what is called a 800 number, where you can call and you don't have to be identified, but you can talk.
Can talk.
Can talk. And we're finding that children will open up to other individuals sometimes before they open up to their own parents.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and we want to be that beacon of hope for a child. Come in and talk to us, and let's see what we can do. If we don't have the resources, we can refer you to the resources. So,
that's really going to meet a need right there, because people don't realize just how many of our citizens, young parents, are working so hard to make a living, and it's harder and harder these days. And the children, even young teens, they lack that direction.
yeah, I think that we need to be a little bit more understanding of the environment in which our children come from.
Yeah.
So that we're able to approach them in a manner that will be helpful, as opposed to blaming them. I was in education, and I never could wrap my mind around it, but I followed the rules most of the time. Why would you send a child to in-school suspension for being late to school in the elementary school? I mean, I'm serious.
That's counterproductive.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and we have an amazing group of people working in the district now, so let me put that out there. I'm not blaming it. This was during my time. But I never could understand, this is a 6-year-old or first grader or second grader or whatever grade it is. I can't drive a car. I'm not responsible for my mama bringing me late. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to learn how to approach these things differently, and those things will affect children later on.
Yes.
The things we do to them when they're little.
Oh, that's right.
And I just think that, like you said, we need to find programs and ways to meet our children where they are and to work with them. A lot of times they just need a little love, a little care, and a lot of attention.
A lot of attention.
A lot of attention, because if you don't give it to them, they're going to find it out there in the streets.
And they're going to get it the wrong way.
And they'll get it the wrong way.
Ms. Bettye, you've been an educator. I want you to just share your experience, because I'm finding out more and more about you as we get to know each other. Just tell me more about your passion for this, because this isn't just something you woke up just last week and decided to do. This has been your passion for a long time.
My passion for working with children started when I started teaching. And I started teaching in 1976.
Wow.
Okay. And I taught school for 21 years, and I did administration and stuff like that for another 16 years. But I was in education for a total of 37 years. And what I found was there's a joy in knowing that you reach someone who needed you and you didn't know they needed you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's a joy.
Yeah.
When you're able to speak to a child and change their life on that day, and 20 years later they'll come back and tell you, you know, you told me something or you did this, and I appreciate you and I thank you.
Right.
So it was the joy of knowing that I could make a difference, because I had two individuals in my life who made a difference to me. He was my godfather. He was a former superintendent in Fayette. His name was Mayor Leroy Hayes. And he took me under his wings when I was in the 7th grade. And I met his wife when I was in the 4th grade. Well, my parents died when I was in the 7th grade.
Oh.
So he just pulled me in and just became my godfather. Then I had a 10th grade English teacher, and her name was Connie Williams. And Miss Williams, she would red pen you to death she red pen you. I mean, she would mark out and tell you all kinds of things. And she told me, she said, whatever you do, whenever you stand in front of someone and you make a mistake, you be intelligent enough to say, I made a mistake, and you go back and correct it. So we would be doing our speeches in class, and if we said is and it was supposed to be are, then you had to stop and you had to correct yourself. She said, because if you don't, you're perceived as ignorant. And that just stayed with me a long time,
That's beautiful.
And having those type of people in my life who took me under their wings and kind of nourished me through high school and college and life in general.
Yeah.
So a teacher is so important. Oh my God, they are so
100%.
important, and we need to respect that.
We do.
Because if we support them in a way where the kids can respect them, you're going to see a difference in your child. Okay, so that's what I got from it. For 9 years.
When we think of education, we can think of education as being a light. And really, it is the light that brings people out of darkness.
It is.
And to bring them into an understanding of so many things. And it is so great to know that this center has a potential of being a great light in our community. I know the city government, are spread thin right now. We've been doing so much with our infrastructure. I've spent two hours this morning with contractors looking at our street project on Canal Homachita Street. And we're trying to get all that straight. And we're trying to get our parks up. We have a vision to also get a gym built at Duncan Park. We're working on that. And so people tell me, well, with the budget being so tight in the city, why are you wanting to talk about this? I said, well, look, just because we have these things we're doing doesn't mean I can't get out there and be a cheerleader and support these other things, because these are points of light. And the more points of light we have in our community, the better our community becomes overall. We've had darkness in this community when we look at crime, when we look at children who don't even develop fully before they start getting an interest in guns, drugs, the wrong kind of influences. And then that just leads them further into darkness.
Yes, it does.
We need all the light we can get in this community. For example, I'm very excited about the plans for a Boys and Girls Club to come back into Natchez. And there's no reason that we can't have all of these programs and points of light, because while our parks are great, I'm so excited. We've renovated the 6 parks, the new playgrounds, basketball courts at North Natchez, the baseball fields at Duncan Park, new tennis courts. But that's not for everybody. And we're working on our workforce development programs, and that's going very well. But some of those programs and what they offer now at the Secular Center, it's not for everybody. They can go now to Frazier and find something that may be for them.
That's true.
And so, in the time we have left, because I'm getting to the point that, oh man, time runs out quickly around here. If people want to know more about the Frazier Enrichment Center, Ms. Bettye, what should they do?
Well, you can visit our website, under Pretty Girls with Brains.
And let's talk about that just for a minute.
Love that.
When did you start this organization, Pretty Girls with Brains?
I love that.
2019.
And what was the inspiration behind it?
My granddaughter, whose name is Peyton Gabrielle Bell,
Yes.
she was showing goats at the time. And every time we went to a goat show, she won. I mean, she would place.
Yeah.
Cool.
And she was such a speaker. She's a great little speaker.
Oh.
And we were there.
Takes
and
after you.
she and her mom and I was talking. I said, you know, she's a pretty girl and she got plenty of brain. I said, we need to develop us an organization where we bring in girls of all different diversities and let them know that their brain is what sustains them, not their physical beauty, but your brain is what's going to take you a long
Amen.
ways. So we started it. We started in
that's really
2019. We started Pretty Girls with Brains.
That's great. And I know you have a gala event every year to celebrate women who have accomplished
Yes.
here in our community. You have one coming up in March.
March the 23rd. We'll be doing our Legacy Gala. And don't forget our Black History program on February the 16th.
Okay, I got to get that on my calendar.
Yes.
Now, if they do want information on Frazier Enrichment Center, and this, by the way, is the old Frazier School located on George F. West Boulevard, what would they do?
You can call me, Bettye Bell, or Jarita Frazier, or you can come by the Frazier Center, or again, you can look at our website and get some information. We do have some brochures that are already printed, and just stop by and get one,
Okay.
and it'll tell you what we need, but we're putting information out there all the time.
And we'll share more online. And I believe in just a little while you're going to speak to the city council, share some information with them. So we look forward to that.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for having me, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Miss Bettye.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to being a part of the things you're doing.
We look forward to being there.
I look forward
Thank
to
you.
it. Thank you, Mr. Leon.
And the founder of Pretty Girls with Brains, Miss Bettye Bell. Thank you for being here
Thank
on
you.
Natchez Renewal Radio with the Mayor, Dan Gibson.
Thank you. God bless Natchez.
Yes.